This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon and welcome back to another edition of Edmonton Oilers pregame coverage as we get set for the Oilers, the Habs. 7 p.m. start this evening. No, it's not a nationally televised game, which is where we lead off with today's kind of troubling trends and whatever you want to call them when it comes to the defense and everything else Edmonton Oilers. So there's a couple of things we have to get to, and we will. But first, if you're new to the channel and you want to come back for the post game or you want to follow along with all season of Oilers coverage, Dolynny TV, one of your biggest homes for Oilers coverage on YouTube, you might want to consider taking the next 8 minutes to hit that subscribe button. With that said, let's get to it. Troubling trends. That's what I'm starting you right off in the first 15 seconds with. Why? Well, there's a troubling trend here, but it's also a positive trend as today is a regional broadcast. Now, if you don't know what that means, national broadcasts are for all of Canada to watch, right? That would be Wednesday against the Canucks last week, which was a national game on Scotiabank Wednesday Night Hockey. And then, of course, Saturday's game was a nationally televised game as part of Hockey Night in Canada. Okay, hold on. What do we know about those two games? Just throwing some mud at the wall here. I do that a lot, so don't hate me for it. But we know those two games, the Oilers are 0-2 for nationally televised games. Now, you have regional broadcast game from Thursday last week when the Oilers put on their absolute best performance of the year. Well, it's a regional broadcast game tonight. Now, what we also know this evening for the Montreal Canadiens, from what I've read from TSN's John Liu today, just a quick little note on Twitter, is the fact that Jake Allen will be getting the start here for Montreal. Well, if I'm not mistaken, Jake Allen is the quote-unquote backup or quote-unquote the other goalie in Montreal, right? And why does that mean anything to us? Well, troubling trends, right? Troubling trends here for the Edmonton Oilers, or positive trends, depending how you want to look at it. What happened Wednesday against the Canucks? The Canucks sent veteran all-star goalie Braden Holtby out the door to start. What happened? The Oilers lost. Now, let's go against the other guy, Thatcher Demko, on a regionally televised game. Well, Thatcher Demko gets crapped on by Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers. Okay. All right. Good to go. And if you're taking offense to Thatcher Demko getting crapped on, that's being my words, and you tell me that Mikko Koskinen got crapped on by the Canucks and Habs so far this season, kind of reframe your mind a little bit here and look at what you're yelling about, all right? But that's going to be the thing you take exemption to, or whatever the word is. It's been a long day. I've been up since 5:30 this morning. That's early times for me. You can tell by the hair. Anyway, right? All right, troubling trends. So, Thatcher Demko gets crapped on. The Habs start Carey Price on a nationally televised game. Well, veteran all-star goalie beats the Oilers in 5-goal win for his team. Okay, now you have troubling trend number 2 coming here where the Oilers regional game, and oh look, they've got the other goalie. I mean, I don't know what you consider the Canucks tandem, and obviously we know what we consider the Montreal Canadiens tandem, but other goalie Jake Allen's now in net, and it's a regionally televised game. Interesting of note. I just wanted to start your afternoon with that because that is kind of what you need to look for here. If this is going to be the trend we look for, we got to win every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. We do that all season long, and we only have maybe 3 days a week where we could potentially lose a game. Well, that's not a bad formula. All right, troubling trends aside, let's get to the lineup this afternoon, and it will once again be Mikko Koskinen in net. Dave Tippett squarely over the past 48 hours, laying the blame for the Oilers' debacles against Vancouver and Montreal at the feet of the defense. So you see now we move our way up to the defenseman that will suit up for the Oilers this evening, and you see two names in there you have not seen at all this season so far, Russell and Legason. You've got Russell with Tyson Barrie. You've got William Legason with Adam Larson. Hold on, Caleb Jones isn't in those pairs. Now, you've got Nurse with Slater Cuckoo. Where's Ethan Bear? He's in the press box. Everybody crying that the Oilers should punish Ethan Bear. He finally got punished. All right, you're happy, you're great. Now what do you do if the Oilers defense is bad, okay? If the Oilers defense is bad tonight, what do you do? What do you do? You can't blame Ethan Bear. You can't blame Caleb Jones. I guess you got to suck it up and look at some other stuff. And again, realize maybe it's not all one guy's fault that the team falters and gives up 5 goals. Okay, fair enough. Now, let's move up to the forward lines. Minor switch here. One guy back in, one guy out, and a guy switches with another guy. RNH, McDavid, Kassian remains the top line. If we see them come out like they did in that regionally televised game against the other goalie for the Vancouver Canucks, which is probably the best, most dominant period to begin that game that RNH, McDavid, and Kassian have had in the 2 games together so far this year. Well, that's a good result, right? We were up, 2-0 after the first against the Canucks on Thursday? Now Cahoon, Draisaitl, Yamamoto stays together. Look for the video tomorrow. If the Oilers happen to lose this one, we'll be talking about those top 2 lines. I guarantee it. Promise you that. Now, Nygaard, Turris, Puljujarvi. So, everybody's started throwing shade at the third line, whether it be, I think I saw Edmonton Journal what's going on there? Suspect, we got to look at it. Well, you know what? No longer. We got a new third line. Yeah, sure, 2 guys stay on there, but guess what? Joakim Nygaard, he's a new addition. Let's see what they bring tonight. And now we got to reevaluate, starting all over again on the third line. Archibald, Shore, Chason. That's what an NHL fourth line looks like in terms of the composition the Oilers can come up with, if you're not a Jujhar Khaira fan. And honestly, Devon Shore looked very good in the late half of that second and third period for the Oilers against the Montreal Canadiens. One of the guys you actually noticed on the ice if you were still paying attention after about 5 minutes into the first period with the way it was going after the Habs got things going after the disallowed goal on Leon Draisaitl. Okay, all right, great, dandy. That's the forward lines. That's the defense. That's the goaltender. We know the troubling trends. Now, here's the big part. I talked about it right in the title of the game review the other night. What do the Oilers need to do? Don't let yourself be walked on. Don't let yourself be bullied. You know what? I don't care. This size is an excuse. Crap, that is not an excuse. If you're small, you have to play big. Why is Kyler Yamamoto so effective? He plays big. He doesn't back down. He's fearless. Well, you know what? If the other opposition team is out there and they are bigger than you and they are coming hard and they are hitting you hard, guess what? You got to get up and knock them back. You can't sit there and complain all night that, oh, they're bigger, that's why they should win. Because guess what? They will win. And then people like us here on Dolynny TV are left wondering what the heck happened. How did that happen? Well, they backed down. They let themselves get bullied, did the Oilers. So tonight, you know what to expect. You know the Habs. Game plan is outsize, outsmart you. Guess what? Hit them as hard as they do and make sure they're the ones down on the ice longer than you are. That's as simple as you can possibly make it. They're going to bully you, and that's their tactic, and that's fine. That's a winning strategy, as clearly demonstrated by a 5-1 win the other night. So if that's the winning strategy, throw it right back in their face. You know what? You want to play in the sand? Let's get dirty. Let's have them get going and have the Oilers throw it right back at the Montreal Canadiens. That is what I am looking forward to most tonight. I don't really care about who scores the goals. I don't really care how good or bad everyone interprets Mikko Koskinen to do. I really don't care how much of an impact Russell and Legason have in the lineup. If the Oilers decide to grow a spine and stand up to the Montreal Canadiens tonight, it is a winning result without a doubt in this one for the Edmonton Oilers. They don't do it, it's probably a repeat of that 5-1 loss. So that's what you have to look for. Straight from the opening minutes. Okay? Straight from the opening minutes. Look for the Oilers to go out there. If they get hit, to hit. And you know what? Maybe even be the aggressor. Go out there and hit the Canadiens first. Make a statement. Let's do something. You know what? We're 3 games in. Kassian, drop the gloves. You got nothing to lose, man. Throw a couple of punches and smack a guy around. We all remember that smackdown against Colorado where in the first 5 minutes, Kassian, I think it was the first minute, lays a big hit, scraps a guy, and it was a great night in Edmonton that evening. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV. I am up on out of here. Enjoy the hockey game. I will catch you post game where hopefully I'm just as fired up. I am up on gone.